A CCSD police officer slams a student to the ground near Durango High School.
Now, this happened back in February. The investigation by CCSD now complete, but nearly 5 months later, the police department and the district are still refusing to let you see a police report and officer body camera footage. Fox 5's Joe Vigil has covered this case from the start and talked to the ACLU today.
Yeah, so Joe, what is it saying about this constant refusal to release the video and the report? A lot of people want to see it and want answers.
Absolutely. So here's where things stand right now. CCSD says again the investigation is complete. As part of the investigation, you would expect police would have talked to really everyone about what happened, got all the details of who was there and what they saw, what they heard. But the ACLU tells me not only did CCSD police not talk to any students who witnessed what happened, it did not talk to the students directly involved, including the students slammed to the ground. February 9th, CCSD police say they were investigating reports of a gun near Durango High when they encountered some students. The ACLU says no gun was found on the students. One student told Fox 5 he simply wanted to record CCSD officers with his cell phone when he ended up in handcuffs, while another was taken to the ground by an officer. In Fox 5's records request, CCSD denied public records, in part saying documents and videos are evidence in an ongoing employment investigation. Well, the investigation is over, so where are the public records?
This is complete stonewalling.
Chris Peterson with the ACLU says the district may be stonewalling because a police report and body cam video may be embarrassing for the district, but admits that is only speculation and why the video and police report need to be seen by the public.
That's why we have a Public Records Act, is that we don't have to take the government's word for it. We get to see the actual documents. We get to see the actual video and make the call for ourselves.
The ACLU is representing two of the students involved, including the one thrown to the ground. CCSD has also cited confidential and privileged information that should not be made public, such as information about employees and students.
What they're required to do is redact the privileged information and release everything else.
And some are asking if the completed investigation was really complete. Back when the incident happened, CCSD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara said, with any situation, an investigation will occur to understand all the facts and hold people accountable for their actions. But how could the district gather all the facts when it apparently didn't even interview the students involved?
The fact that this investigation closed without any effort to reach out is disturbing. On top of that, as seen in the district's own filings in the case that we have, they're claiming that there are no witness statements from this incident, which suggests that they did not talk to any other students.
We counted, and in the video, we can see at least 8 people in close proximity to the incident. 8. And there are no witness statements?
Until they're transparent, that's what the public's going to walk away with. And they're justified to walk away with the belief that this is a rubber stamp investigation.
So as we always do, we again today reached out to CCSD police for comment, have not heard back. We continue to push for the police report and the body cam footage. We do have lawyers involved, and we filed another public records request to get both. The ACLU continues to push as well. We will not stop trying to get information for you, and we will keep you updated.